What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Ranger Central podcast. And today we are going to be talking a lot about the trade deadline here. And we are going to be talking about the recent stretch of games where the Rangers have now won 3 games in a row after they've been struggling in January. And in December, they pick up 3 wins in a row, despite some ugliness in a couple of those games and them not playing a full 60. They still have 3 wins in a row. They play Chicago tomorrow night, and then there's an interesting set of games coming up. Not a lot, honestly, because next week they play Calgary and Montreal, and then it's the Stadium Series, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
which I would like for the Rangers to make a move before the Stadium Series game. I think that'd be cool. But I'm here with Matt. I don't know where we don't even know where everyone else is. They sent the homework assignment in, but they're not showing up to class because we, like I said, with the trade deadline, we're gonna talk. They sent in the homework assignment, but they're not showing up to class, so no participation from them. Um, but so you know what, Barkley Goodrow's doing better. Barkley Goodrow's doing better. He's at least showing up. But before we jump into everything, please be sure to leave a like if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new. We're also streaming right now on Twitter. I decided to do something different. Why not stream on Twitter as well? So yeah, leave a like though on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube too. We're very close to 2K subs. I'd appreciate if we could get that before the Stadium Series game, and then turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. But let's just honestly dive into the recent 3 games. So the Rangers, before the All-Star break, they ended up beating the Ottawa Senators, following a loss to the Golden Knights. That is because that game against the Golden Knights was very dreadful. Then in Ottawa, they go down early in the game, and then they end up rallying and scoring late to end up winning, kind of like your textbook 2021-2022 season win. Then you go you come out of the All-Star break here, and the Rangers grab a win against the Colorado Avalanche in overtime, as that was another one where they kind of started off poorly, and then as the game went along, things ended up working themselves out in terms of the offensive play. And then in the Tampa game, the defense was just hideous in the first period. And then the second period, they played probably their strongest defensive period since in a very long time. Like, I don't know if I can really point out a specific date, but it's been a while since they played solid defense. We all know that. It's really not a secret here. But yeah, and then they ended up rallying around there, winning. We had a little cardiac Rangers moment when they ended up making it a 1-goal game, but they end up winning it. So yeah, what are your thoughts quickly on the recent 3 games from the win streak?
Uh Obviously happy to get the 3 wins, and obviously, get those 2 wins out of the All-Star break. But listen, we can't pretend like those are the most prettiest performances in the world because they absolutely weren't. And like we've been saying before the All-Star break, same problems and they're still not being addressed. Poor in the defensive zone, poor breakouts, too much perimeter play, not creating enough high danger chances. And yeah, it's typical 2021-22 Gerard Gallant type hockey right now. And obviously, thankful that Quick played well in both the Colorado and Tampa Bay game. So, we were able to get those 2 wins. And, obviously there's now a debate, where are we going with now? Are we going with Quick or is it Igor's net? And right now, I say it's Quick's net right now. Obviously, probably Igor's going to get the game tomorrow in Chicago, but if he doesn't perform, well tomorrow night, then it's just going to solidify more that it's Quick's net right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that whole debate too about Igor versus Quick right now, whose net it should be, and well, like I said, we'll talk about that. But yeah, like that's really the gripe that I do have, if there is one, with them winning 3 games. I know that people are gonna say you shouldn't be mad when they win 3 games in a row, which I would agree because that's 6 points right there. But there are definitely some concerns in these 3 wins in terms of the fact that, like, it's also weird that the play in these wins has kind of been different in some of the games too. Like you said, I mean, the Ottawa and Colorado ones were very similar. The only difference is they went down by one instead of two. But poor defensive play in that game early on, especially, and they rallied from behind to win. Where last game it was more so them at least adjusting. And the big adjustment that I've noticed the past two games is the matchup that the fourth line's going against. And I find it weird that Jimmy Vesey went to Larry Brooks, and it was in this article today as I was reading that he's talking about how they could go up against like all these top lines, but when they were against that McKinnon line, Laviolette had to switch the matchup because of how poor they did. And then in the Tampa game, Laviolette had to switch the matchup again because they were doing so poor. So I don't necessarily agree with that, which, we'll talk more about depth options for the trade deadline here that the Rangers can maybe acquire. But yeah, with these three games, I really don't know how to feel because, like we're talking about, the thing that's really scary to me is how much it's feeling like the 2021-22 season, which they went to the conference finals, but at some point the formula just doesn't work where you play from behind and then try to come back in these games. We saw it in that season, and I think if they could get to what they were doing more in the second period against Tampa, but generate some offense on top of that, that's going to be the sustainable way to win, because we've been talking about that ad nauseum, that in October, what made them a better team was that defensive play, but they need to turn some of it into offense. And I think the way they're going to turn it into offense is guys from within stepping up. I talked about this in my video earlier too, that the issue really comes from within with a lot of things. And, we've talked about that a lot. Mika Zibanejad, Steve Alcat put out a stat on Twitter. He has 5 expected goals at 5v5 and 5 actual goals at 5v5 this year. You can't have that from your number one center. Chris Kreider has kind of been a black hole at 5v5. Blake Wheeler he's Blake Wheeler. I mean, he's very inconsistent. He'll chip in points, but, it's kind of the Chris Kreider effect, but worse, honestly, where he chips in points, and then outside of that, you're not noticing him in the game. The second line is producing at the very least. The third line is inconsistent, which, you kind of expect that from a third line in terms of production wise. And then the fourth line, they chipped in some offense yesterday, but I still would like to see I'd like to see some better play from that fourth line. And I think that will come from them getting an upgrade, especially Tyler Pitlick. I don't think he could be in the lineup anymore. Barclay Goodrow's not going to go. Tyler Pitlick, I don't think could be in the lineup anymore. He is virtually invisible out there night in and night out.
Yeah, just going back to that point you made about, Laviolette and like how we've seen a lot of games this year where he usually likes to put the fourth line and match him up against the first line, but obviously we see like they struggle with that a lot, and it's not just because because of their skill. It's mainly down because just the lack of speed. Those 3 guys on that line are not fast, and when you have to go up, against McKinnon or Rantanen, who are they'll blow you out of the water with their speed. Yeah, of course, that line's going to struggle. So obviously, there needs to be improvement, not just in terms of scoring depth, but in terms of just skating ability on the depth side.
Yeah, and like that's the other reason why we're not seeing the bottom 6 chip in that many goals, especially that fourth line, because they try to rely on transition play, which, that's the reason too why we see them struggle, because of the fact that their breakout passes aren't good enough a lot of nights. So you're seeing them just turn the puck over, and then it's leading to the other team getting chances. Then when they do make a play in transition, they're very slow. And then when they go to dump the puck, they either ice it or there's no puck support on the forecheck. That's why you're seeing inconsistent play and you're not seeing effective play. They need to get more of an identity too. And that's been my other gripe with this season is, it's been, I get the season's ebbs and flows and ups and downs, but I'd like for them to have a consistent identity where, you could say going into a night, what you're going to get from this team, where, whether it's defensive hockey and the way they get their offenses through transition, that, okay, at least that's a formula and that's an idea. If you have to adjust, you have to adjust. But I want it to be something where they have an identity. They need to have an identity.
Yeah, it was weird because obviously at the start of the season, we liked the way how they were playing. While the offense wasn't there, you still got it in spurts from mainly that second line, but they had that good defensive structure. And ever since that Boston game where they won 7-4 at the Garden, they really haven't had that identity like you said. It's weird because you go from game to game, and one game they can look one way, and then another game they look a totally different way. Like they'll look very good offensively one night. They'll score 7 5v5 goals, like I think we saw it in against Anaheim, and the defense isn't great. But then another game like last night against Tampa, they'll have like a solid defensive period, but then offensively they get nothing going. So it's weird. I want them to start looking like more like we have a sense of how they're going to play every night. Right now, we're just not seeing it, and I hope eventually, obviously, we're coming towards the trade deadline and playoffs, and hopefully, we start to see that constant, way they start playing.
Yeah, there just needs to be an identity with this team, and that's just the main thing. And Steven saying it, this team's not winning a cup if the Wonder Twins play together at 5v5. I don't care how much they like each other, they don't work well together. Yeah, that's really the main thing too. And I was saying it recently that I forgot if it was in my post game or in one of my videos, but I really don't think it's the end of the world if you break up that second line. I know that I was talking about them being the ones producing, but if they're giving up chances the other way, like just as many chances the other way as they are getting for goals for, does it really matter at the end of the day? So I still feel that if they could go into the deadline with, like, this is the thing that they have so many holes to fill on this roster, but if Kreider could just play the right side, I would put him honestly next to Panarin and Trocheck, and I think that would be a better idea. Put Lafreniere on the left side of Mika Zibanejad, and then get a right winger for that line. I think that would, round out the team and balance the team a lot more than what we have right now.
I've been kind of saying ever since the start of the season with Lappy and Panarin, I want to see them stick together, and not that I don't think they won't work, away from each other. But I think we've obviously seen this year with them both playing with Trocheck and Hedel that it doesn't matter who the center is because they both played very well with either one. So I think if you just if you flip the winger partnership and you have Panarin, Mika, Laffy, and then on the second line you have Kreider, Trocheck, Wheeler, or Kako, depending on how you want to play it. I think that could work, and maybe you have the ability and the skills of Panarin and Laffy that could ultimately unlock Mika 5v5 because we've seen in the past before also that Kreider and Trocheck have played well together. So I'm not worried about that second line because there's history there that those two play well together on the line.
Yeah, that's where, like, this is where it hurts that Kako is not capable really of playing in the top six, because if Kako was able to play in the top six, to me, this would be an easier solution. I mean, this is where you miss Filip Chytil too. With the lineup, there was just way more flexibility. Like if, say, things went right where Chytil was healthy and then Kako was in the lineup, you'd still have that second line together with Chytil centering it instead. I wanted Kreider and Trocheck on that third line together, and then Kako on the top line, right wing, potentially even. And then they go out and get help on the left wing there later on in the season. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. So, yeah, I don't know. But Steven's right. That's all I know, that they need to break up Kreider and Zibanejad because it's just simply not going to work if those two stay together. We've seen it time and time again. You look at all of the analytics from years prior. How many more times do we have to go through this until we realize here that those two don't work together? Tarasenko comes in, it doesn't work. Kane plays on the right side, doesn't work. You have Vetrano the year before. It looked good, but at certain points, especially in the playoffs, but in the regular season, and if you look at the metrics, it didn't necessarily work in terms of goals and expected goals, with expected goals against factored in too. It's been a revolving door. We've talked about it ad nauseum, a revolving door of right wingers, but at what point is it their fault? At what point is it their fault? And they need to switch them up. They need to break them up. It's long overdue at this point. And another thing that needs to be broken up is Miller and Truba. Like every time they're out there, it feels like it feels like the other team's getting chances at will. That's the other issue that I have. I think if those two get split up, that would help the team a lot too.
Yeah, they were terrible the past two games against Colorado and Tampa, especially that Tampa game in the first period. I mean, you had guys, open in front of the net. Either you had both guys at one point, getting caught in transition. They just don't work as a pair, and it was disappointing because earlier in the year those two were actually playing very well together, and I thought maybe with the structure change that maybe they found something and now they could finally play together and look well as a partnership, and it just fell apart, and it's back to that way where we're screaming as Ranger fans to break them up again.
Yeah, it's been that's the thing too. Like Truba at the beginning of the season was really starting to like grow on me a bit too with the way that he was playing. I was like, this is the type of play that we need from him. Like, because they're never going to get the $8 million level of play. It's just never going to happen. But if they could get what they got early on in the season from him, that would make a difference. But a lot of it goes in hand with the fact, obviously, that the structure has just been non-existent lately. And like we talked about, since that Boston game, the identity has just changed completely for the worse. And I wouldn't hate these lines: 50, 93, 13, 10, 16, 24, 20, 22, 26, and then 71, 21, 17. I wouldn't hate that. I don't like Blake Wheeler down there on the fourth line with Pitlick and Gaudreau, because that line is going to be the slowest line in the NHL. But like, I wouldn't hate that top six in particular. I really wouldn't hate that top six. I think you could just, as much as I don't like Wheeler, I'd rather him on the third line than just keep that fourth line together for now. But still, I'd prefer that over what we have now, because they need to break those two up. And then, like I said, with Miller and Trouba, I think that's the other concern right now, is those two sticking together.
Yeah, there's got to be some shakeup to the roster, and hopefully, with the trade deadline coming, I know we've heard, kind of conflicting reports whether the Rangers want to move their first round pick or they don't. We'll see what happens. I'm in the realm of, personally, I don't want them to move the first round pick, and not because of that stupid reason that fucking Dolan gave, that the Rangers want to be,
With the
a part,
sphere, yeah.
part of the draft. I think it's just smarter, because I don't think personally that this team is one trade away from winning a cup or contending for a cup. And I don't think there's, obviously, there's a guy in Gensel, which you could hypothetically get, but I just don't see Pittsburgh trading Gensel to us. I don't think we have the assets in the first place to do it. But yeah, I don't think there's not one trade that makes us, it solidifies us as cup contenders. And like you said before, with the amount of defensemen in this upcoming draft in the first round, like you said, there's projected to be it's like 16 defensemen taken in the first round.
14 or
14,
so, yeah.
14, yeah. And the Rangers are desperately crying out for defensive depth in their farm system. So I would personally like to keep it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, I'd rather them trade the lower end prospects. And I talked about there, I'd rather them just buy low in general, which when we do get to the deadline list talk, I kind of have guys that are going to, I have some guys that will cost high assets and some that will cost low assets, but we'll talk about that. And to answer this question, I honestly don't know. I think that the earliest we see a trade is next week. If not, it's not going to be till deadline week probably, because we're a month from today actually is the deadline. So I think next week would make the most sense if they're going to make a trade early, because they're not going to do it while they're on the road in Chicago. So after that game, they have 2 days off. Maybe it happens there. I don't know. The schedule's light and they have 2 home games. To me, it just makes so much sense that if a trade's going to happen early, it's going to happen next week, because outside of that, they play, I mean, technically on the road for 3 games, but realistically 2. The other one's a Stadium Series game, so it doesn't really count there. And then they have 1 home game, but then they play 3 games in a row on the road. More than likely, a trade's going to happen while they're on the road. Then they come home to play Columbus, and then they go to Toronto again. So to me, it's either next week, and if it doesn't happen next week, a trade, I don't think we're gonna see one until like I would say from between Saturday and the I'll say the 20th or 21st. If they don't make a trade in that time frame, I wouldn't expect them until the deadline to make a move. I wouldn't expect them to make one until the deadline, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I don't think right now there's not really been a lot of you know, like messages about like the Rangers even close to making a deal right now. And obviously, Drury does like to keep everything close to his chest, so we don't know. But yeah, I think probably we're looking more towards deadline time for them to make the moves.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna have to wait on that.
And
Drury,
tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of the Rangers trading for Tarasenko. So maybe we get a surprise trade tomorrow. Maybe we
I
do,
forgot
but
about that. I don't think it's gonna happen tomorrow, but it could. It could. I mean, if it's gonna happen tomorrow, it's gonna be a lower costing trade where they're not gonna trade someone that would be able to play tomorrow unless it's after the game. And this I agree with too. Like, why is Drury not sending Lecision down on non-game days to accrue more cap space? To me, that just doesn't make sense at all. You got to just do the paper transactions. We saw last year with Kane that how much it hurt them down the crunch time. And yeah, they'll probably have like 4.4 in cap space come the deadline without paper transactioning Lecision. And yeah, maybe at the draft they could fetch a first for Chris Kreider, but like that. The problem is I don't know if they have that outlook right now. I don't know if they have that outlook right now. They probably don't know what they want to do or what they going into the offseason yet. Dolan runs the show. Yeah, I mean, sounds like he's being a bit hands-on with the team, which is annoying.
Coincidentally, he's making the right decision, but for the wrong fucking reason.
Yeah, if that rumor's true, yeah, he's making he's making the right decision for the wrong reason. Yeah, he's gonna accidentally luck his way into being smart potentially on that. I'm trying to buy time until we do the trade list right now, but I I don't know what else really to
You want
talk
to?
about. I mean, we could talk about the what were you gonna say though?
I was gonna say you want to do like I mean I know it's after the All Star game, but you want to do like player grades for like up until right now for the players.
We could do that. I was gonna say we could also briefly talk about the whole Quick and Igor conversation. We'll do that, and then we'll do player grades just because the first conversation is probably gonna be quicker.
Yeah, we'll do we can do player grades when the rest of the guys come on. Just get
This is,
more.
yeah, this is great podcasting right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk briefly.
Oh, there we go. There's one.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got one here at least.
I guess.
But we'll talk about the goalie situation, Dylan. Talk about the goalie situation. So Jonathan Quick started now in back-to-back games, and did he start that game against Ottawa? I don't know why I'm forgetting. I don't think he did, right?
No, Igor was in that game.
Igor was okay. Yeah. But Jonathan Quick has started the past 2 games, and it looked like they had a plan regardless to just run with that. Apparently, that's what the plan was with Benoit Lair to get them to reset Igor, if you will. I don't hate the decision. I think it's a good idea. You ride with the hot hand right now and let Igor reset mentally. I've been mentioning it ad nauseum on this channel. Just look at what's happening with Ilya Samsonov in Toronto. Look at how much more effective he's been since he had his little reset period. Why not do the same with Igor? Why not do the same? And I think it could work. I think, and what does it hurt at this point? Worst case, it helps him, or worst case, it hurts him even more because he's already been playing poorly this year. Best case, it helps him, and you get the great goaltending again that you've needed.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Right now, I mean, like I said earlier, I'm sure Igor's going to get the game tomorrow in Chicago, but right now it's Quick's net. He's confident. He's hot. he basically stole us those 2 wins against Colorado and Tampa. But yeah, I mean, look, Igor right now, like you said, just give him that mental reset. Just give it to him because obviously the last 2 years he's been carrying us. He had that incredible season 21-22 where he won the Vezina, and like last year, like sure he had that rough patch in February where he really struggled, but come playoff time, he once again he carried the Rangers to that playoff series. And I know obviously they ended up losing 7 games, but Igor made it a lot closer than it should have been. But yeah, I think he's under a lot of pressure. Just give him some time off right now, like they're doing. Obviously, he had that nice time in Toronto at the All Star game. But yeah, just give him a couple games. Just gradually start working him in, and yeah, hopefully he builds up his confidence again. And come playoff time, he's ready to go and be the Igor that we all know he can be.
Yeah, I agree. You go with the hot hand for now, and then let things sort out with Igor. Nick, did you have anything to say on the subject?
Hold on 1 sec, sorry. There you go. Got my profile picture up.
This
My
guy.
camera's not gonna be on. About Igor, I'm okay with them running quick and having him split games with Igor until Igor does get hot. But probably wouldn't hurt to let him play against Chicago. At the very least, just to get his feet wet, get his body moving. You don't want to sit him for too long and get cold, especially towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I just think run with them for now, because then also on top of that, you're not gonna like that was a thing I think that caught up to Igor at points last year was some fatigue. I think that being able to rely on Quick more this year is helping Igor is going to help Igor out in the long run, because in the past year Halak struggled so much at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And they were forced to use Igor a lot. The year before that, Georgiev couldn't stop a beach ball either, and they were forced to use Igor a lot. So, and I don't think Igor is getting traded. I don't think so. Don't think that happens unless he continues to suck the rest of the way. Someone in the chat said that.
Oh.
I don't think it happens unless he continues to suck throughout the year.
Even if he does, you're probably, if Igor was ever going to get traded, you're at least a year and change away from that, because you have to wait for either Garon to be ready, or there would have to be another goalie coming back. It'd be a goalie swap situation, a goalie downgrade in order to acquire someone else.
There's a lot of factors that play into the decision before you even get to making that final decision. Obviously, like you said, is there a goalie ready to come up now in Garand, or are they gonna have to is it have to be a direct goalie for goalie swap? So for me personally, I would explore it, but I'm not 100% on trading Igor. Let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on that. It's got to be the right trade, and someone's got to be ready to step in goal. Boyko needs a few years, our Lord and Savior. So
well, he could probably play now, but they don't want to ruin the league quite yet with just a broken goalie.
Okay, Quick was in that for that Ottawa game.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know why I thought he wasn't, but yeah. So Quick wasn't that, but we could do player grades for now until I don't know. I don't know where this guy Nico's at. Zero communication with this guy Nico.
He's at McDonald's.
Not class.
Yeah, not classy from Nico at all. Blake, if you're still here, you might have to consider trading him.
Yeah.
But do we want to do player grades individually, or do we want to go about it a different way? Like, did you want
one player at a time? Just do one player at a time.
All right, one player at a time. Let's just keep it. Let's just keep talking about it because we're on the subject with goalies. Let's start off with Igor. What would you guys grade Igor's season thus far?
I'll go C-. Yeah, C- for me. He's had spurts where he's looked good, but like we said, he's been inconsistent this year. So yes, C- for me.
Nick. Okay. I will. I'd probably go honestly with the same grade as you. C- with him. for right now on the year. He started off giving good enough goaltending, and then we know that it's just been a struggle more and more as the team in front has not been helping him out. So I'll go with a C minus.
You guys able to hear me? There we go. Okay.
Now we can.
we hear you.
I'm gonna give Igor. I don't want to give him the D, but I'm not far off considering he's got a sub 90 save percentage. But he does still have spurts. I'm just gonna go with a flat C. He's not quite ready for the D yet.
Jonathan Quick. I'm gonna give him. I'll say an A. I can't go A plus, but I'll go because A plus would be Vezina level numbers. But I gotta go A. If you're going based realistically off the numbers, I would say A minus. But just based on our expectations, that's where I give it an A because we had very little expectations, especially after his garbage preseason where he looked like he was completely cooked. He's been really solid. He had like a rough stretch at one point in like at the end of November, December when the team started playing poor. Not a coincidence there, but he had a little stretch where he was allowing like 4 or 5 goals a game, but he's for the most part been really good for and he's exceeded our expectations. I'll go with an A.
I'll go A minus. Like you said before, I wasn't really, excited about the signing of Quick because, his last couple of years in LA weren't that great. But yeah, obviously we saw him preseason. He struggled, didn't have a lot of expectations, but he's played well this year. You got to give it to him. Obviously, there's a couple games where he really didn't look that sharp, but most of the time he's looked great. He's kept the Rangers in games. So yeah, A minus for me.
Given what was expected of him going into the season, given his role and what he's been able to do with what presumably was a couple years ago an MVP candidate goalie, I'm giving him the A plus. Just
That's
because
fair.
now I'm doing that not based on Jonathan Quick against every other goal in the NHL. I'm doing that based on what we expected out of how old is Quick? 37?
Somewhere around there.
However old he is, we going into this season, especially after watching him in the preseason where he was complete and utter dog shit, we maybe expected what? 10 to 15 games, a sub 90 save percentage, maybe a handful of wins. To now, he might legitimately, if he plays as many games as he could down the stretch, you might be talking about a 20-win backup with a almost 92 save percentage.
Yeah, which is
Insane.
crazy, especially from what we got from Halak last year, where he wasn't even getting wins at all for this team.
No, that kid.
How many wins did they have with Halak last year? Like 10?
If even that.
Because it started off with him being like
first 9 games.
Yeah, he lost like his first.
Yeah, he lost his first like
games.
7 or 8, and then they won like I think 10 with him in.
Yeah,
they
won 10 with him last year.
Yeah,
and Quick's already at 12 and playing. Oh, he's playing more games too. I don't know.
That goes back to my point. Igor got burnt into the ground.
But Benoit Allaire's got that A plus.
That's true.
Benoit Allaire is going to the Hall of Fame.
Next, we got Jacob Trouba.
Jacob Troubass, C minus. Trouba's interesting because like I said earlier in the year, he came into the season. I had little to no expectations for him, and that system really helped him in the beginning because he looked like a very competent defenseman in the beginning of the year. I mean, obviously he wasn't playing an $8 million defenseman, but he looked like a solid, reliable $6.5 million defenseman. He's playing good defense. He came up with a couple, clutch, nice goals. We started seeing his offense more, and now it's just ever since, like we said, that Boston game, Brewer was just falling off a cliff. I don't know what happened to him, but we're seeing the Jacob Trouba of the last 2 years.
Nick.
I'm neither content with nor disappointed in Jacob Trouba. Let's I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go with a flat C, just smack dab in the middle. I'm indifferent towards Truba right now.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go D plus. The reason why though is because his breakout issues alone are just beyond annoying. His gap control has been garbage for years now, and it still continues. The only reason he's not lower for me, honestly, is because of what we talked about before, where he had a solid stretch early on in the season, but that was a long time ago at this point, and ever since then, there's just been issues with the issues have just gotten worse with him getting worse, and that pair in general has just been a complete disaster entirely. So that's why I'm going D plus, and then on top of that, I have questions still about his leadership, but we'll move on to Brain Schneider now.
No point. Yikers.
Mr. Ouchies gets a D minus. Yeah, Schneider has not been good. Schneider's not been good at all this year. He's had a couple games where it's like he looks really low, and they're like, oh, maybe if he could just put a couple games together in a row where he looks really good. But he'll have one good game, and then the next 5 games are just complete shit. And it's like weird because he does have some offensive talent. He does, he sometimes does join the rush. He does have a good shot. He scores goals, but a lot of the times it's just defensively he's all over the place. So, yeah, what do I go? D minus.
D
minus.
I'm gonna have.
So weird.
What did you say?
You guys are just so weird. That's funny though.
I'm gonna go with a D minus too on Brain Schneider. You guys know that I'm basically the president of I'm part of the anti-Schneider cult, and it's nothing personal, but I just can't stand. He's basically what we talked about with Trouba, except worse on some nights, and he just provides nothing on the other side of the puck too. I don't really have much honestly to say with Brain Schneider other than that. Nick, what would you grade him?
I don't want to be a conformist and say D minus 2, even though I think that's what he should get. So I'm just going to give him the D.
Give him the day.
Give him just the Joey D, the ice cold D.
And you said we make it weird.
Yeah, this guy had the picture up before, talking about Dade all the time, and we make it weird. Keandre Miller.
Oh boy.
D plus.
Ooh.
I had so much higher hopes for Keandre Miller this year, but like we've seen like the last couple years before, his big thing is inconsistency. Like I said with Schneider, he'll have a game where he just looks incredible on both sides of the puck, both offensively and defensively, and then he'll go on a stretch of 4 or 5 games where he's just completely lost. And I know, and listen, we've complimented him before about his offensive game because he can score goals, he can create, he's a good skater, but at the end of the day, you're a defenseman, and there's too many times this year where he's just looked so bad defensively, whether that be breaking out the puck, losing his man in front of the net, or just losing a battle in the corner. He's for such a guy his size, he gets bodied off the puck so easily. And yeah, he looked good earlier in the year with Trouba, but same thing with Trouba. We've just seen that decline this year again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with a C minus. I have no other reason. I'm just being different, and I felt harsher just giving him the D. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a C minus.
Not to get off topic, but whichever one of you said transportation D the other day and had me burst out.
That was me.
At work.
That was me that said that.
New Jersey Transit D.
Yeah. About to piss my panties at work. Anyways, I'm gonna go to. Oh boy. I'm probably gonna go C minus on Miller too because his offense output this year is actually worse than last year. So even though even though he's playing worse defensively, there's not even like an offensive upside or an offensive improvement from last year. But there are also shifts where when Keandre Miller's on the ice, he's arguably one of, if not the most dominant player. It's bizarre how he has shifts where he is like, oh my God, how the hell is this guy a defenseman in the NHL? To literally a shift later, like, oh my God, this guy might be the best defenseman in the NHL. It's
Yeah,
bizarre. It's frustrating.
it's a bipolar experience with Miller. Some nights
Yes.
you say he belongs on the top pair, and some nights he doesn't belong in the NHL. Ryan Lindgren.
Oh boy. Yeesh. Another
Uh,
one.
A D, a flat D.
you're gonna give him the day.
I give him the D. Yeah, he's just
begging
been
for it.
he's just been under, like, I can't lie, he's just been underwhelming this year. Like most of our players this year, and there's not really much to say on that point. He's not a top pair defenseman. He's not. And if this team ever wants to get to a position where they want to win a cup, then I'm sorry, Ryan Lindgren cannot be on your first pair D with Adam Fox.
Yeah. Before I give my grade, I want to address this comment. Yes, we're gonna go to. There's gonna be a meetup with Big Apple Hockey. We're going to their meetup for the Stadium Series. So I don't know where they're gonna do that. So look up. Just stay in touch with them. Stay up to date with them on their live streams, and they'll probably give more details about that. But
Yeah, you could.
More D.
Yeah, you could. You could follow Philk on Twitter, 92 and 82, or you could just follow Mark at Big Apple Hockey. I'm sure they'll be putting out information on Twitter, and probably on next week on Wednesday when they do their live show, they'll probably have a lot more information on that since it's a couple days before.
yeah, so look there for the Joey details. But with Ryan Lindgren, I gotta give him the D too. I gotta give him the D also. I hate to be boring and give him, an extra D, but I gotta give him the extra D because, like you said, he's just been so underwhelming this year, especially for a guy that's on a contract year where you would think he'd have some incentive to be playing at a better level. He just looks like I don't know if it's already a mileage issue with him that is catching up to him in terms of his play, but he looks scared at sometimes to, play the body and just block shots at will like he used to prior. I don't know what it is with him this year. I don't know if he's trying to stay more healthy, but he doesn't look like the same guy at all. He just doesn't.
He's gotten blown up also a lot more this year.
Yeah, there was like a 3-game stretch in a row where he was getting lit up.
Nick.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing if he might be Hoyt or like just managing an injury or something's not right because this doesn't look like the Lindgren we've seen in years past. With that being said, dude, I have to give him the D. I'm not seeing.
Gotta give him the day.
I'm not seeing anything that's worth more than the D right now for Lindgren. No, I really can't think of. I mean, unless he's hurt playing through something, in which case you could have a little bit of compassion for him, like, oh, I understand it, but we haven't heard otherwise.
This guy.
All right, so you're gonna give him the day.
Yeah, I just whipped it out and placed it on his chest.
in Minecraft. In Minecraft.
Eric Gustafsson.
Oh God! If you would ask me this 3 months
minus.
ago, I'd give him an A.
I'm giving him a D minus.
He's
He's been a tire fire defensively lately, and last game really he pissed me off a lot last game. So it might just be more of a personal bias thing from last night's game. But Gustafsson he's been terrible. Like outside of October and November, he's just been. Like you said, if it was earlier in the year, he would get a higher grade, but I can't. He's been that bad lately that I can't go any higher than giving him the D with a minus next to it.
I'll give him
a little bit.
I'll go with D plus for Gusty. I was so hyped for Gusty when we signed him because he's been a decent defenseman now for a couple of years, and because of his contract, it was a steal at $825K. And through the first 2 months, I mean, he was simply incredible. He was decent defensively. He was putting up the numbers offensively. He came in Fox's spot when Fox was out for that stretch in November. Or was it in November? He was just really good, and that was one of the most. I was saying at the time that was the most, the best valued contract in free agency at that time, just for the money he signed for and the production he was putting up. But like you said, Evan, he's been a tire fire the last month or two. He's just been terrible.
Who wants to grade him next? Bro's raising his hand like it's a class. I'm crying. All
Go
right.
ahead, Mustache.
All
boy.
right, listen. I mean, we all said it, dude. Like the first 2 months, he was just the best free agent signing this team has seen since Panarin. I'm gonna be honest. He was like the biggest bang for a buck you can think of. I mean, what was it? The points per dollar. He was like number 1 for the longest time, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, for the points per value or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
12 per point.
Fox came back, and ever since then it's just been bad. Like it's to the point where I think our Lord and Savior Connor Mackey should be in the lineup over him. But other than that, no. But seriously, dude, last game Zach Jones played, he actually seriously impressed me. He was solid, and I think you should just give him a shot.
No,
We'll
I'm
get
with
to
you.
him
I'd put
later.
Mackey over Gustafsson right now.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
I don't know who keeps saying it, but like they're like just sit Gus for a game or two and let Jones just do his thing. The poor kid has been sitting on the bench for how long now? And the only times he's playing is if someone's injured or what else. But like you got to give the kid a shot. He was great last game. I'm just gonna say that.
I agree.
But for my grading though, I got to go with the good old D.
Giving them the day. All right, Nick.
I got to slide him the D.
The Rose brothers at its best, given the D.
See, I'm not gonna feed Gusty a D yet. He's almost to that.
You got to take him out
point.
first.
I think we might need to sit down and at least make it to the second or third date before I just say, here, hold this date. My thing is, when Fox was hurt, Gustafsson was playing at a point per game pace. And he was probably the best D that we had before Fox came. And then once Fox came back from an injury, his time on ice diminished.
We're so immature. Holy fuck.
We're such a bunch of losers. But it's just ever since Fox came back, he's playing less. We took him out the first power play unit, which, by the way, the power play kind of started sucking since then. But it's still good,
Yeah.
so we're not going to – it's just not
We're
been
fine.
happening.
We're in the trip.
I'm not advocating for taking Fox off the top power play unit, but maybe find a way to get Gus down there. Regardless. It's just Gusty's just been on a downhill trend ever since Fox came back. Like I said, I'm not going to throw a D at him yet. I'm gonna still stick him with a C because to this point, if you weren't watching the games and you were just looking at the numbers for what he's being paid, he's been valuable for us. So I'm not gonna recency bias. I'm giving him a D. Altogether, from day one to day today, putting everything together, you're giving him a C. A two-handed C.
The fuck.
All right. I agree with this comment that pre-Fox,
Mm-hmm.
definitely an A-, and then post-Fox return, you gotta give him the D-. Gotta give him the D-.
I do have to say, I'm not even joking, and this is Trouba included. He might have one of the hardest shots from the point on this team.
Who, Gusty?
Yeah, dude, he has a rip.
In terms
has
of
a rip on
accuracy,
you.
because Trouba probably does, but
Trouba does.
he hit someone. He hit someone
Yeah.
all the way up in Massachusetts with that slap shot. So
Trouba,
like a young lady from Shawinigan.
Trouba actually got the puck up on the Chase Bridge the other night, so
I'm not surprised.
That jerk off took a one-timer at MSG and fucking hit the Vegas arena.
He hit the sphere.
Yeah,
but
he hit
don't
the
worry,
sphere,
we're not gonna
Dolan.
get
Hit the
first round pick.
Dolan sphere.
He hit the Dolan sphere. Piece of shit.
Gotta buy him
No, but
out,
dude,
man.
he's got a rip from the point. He has a thunderclap. So I mean,
That is his
He's
own
just-
ability.
yeah. So I mean, he's.
I'm not even gonna read that comment out loud, but
Dude,
Oh, God. What a
wow.
mess.
Adam Fox.
You better tag that comment right now.
What are we grading Adam Fox this season?
B plus.
Oh,
I think
a
Foxy's.
gentle push.
I think Foxy's had a decent year this year. I mean, he started out strong. Obviously, he got that injury from that knee from Aho. He came back. He struggled a little bit. He's picked up his game recently. Obviously, he's been decent defensively, decent offensively. I just want to see him be a lot more dynamic because the last couple of games I haven't really noticed him that much. He hasn't been terrible or anything, but I just want to see more of him and be more of that dominant Fox. We've seen the last couple of years.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd probably go with. I'll go with a B. I'll go with a B for him. I still want to see a bit more from him, like you were saying, and I think a lot of it again has to do with the fact that the structure has just been so broken down lately, and that's kind of affecting his game. And like you said, offensively too, I want to see him do a bit more. He was showing flashes of it at points in last night's game, but we need to start seeing it more. We need him to be more of a threat shooting the puck on the power play too. He needs to start shooting the puck on the power play. I've been saying that nonstop too, because Kreider's not deflecting pucks the way he was, and having Fox shooting would help that out.
Yeah, I mean you're right. As of right now,
Thank you. I know I am.
yeah, I know. No, I mean
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
did
get
bring
that
up the Kreider thing not tipping a while ago, and I'm glad someone else sees it because it's been pissing me off. As of
I
right
see
now,
the tip. I see the
yeah,
tip.
I know
initiative.
the tip is there, but it's just not.
Hard to
it's not-
miss it.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to miss it, meat market, but it's just it's
It's
something that you got to
butcher.
utilize. How much are you paying me, Evan?
Nick, what would you give Adam Fox on the season thus far?
If I was wearing a tail and you could call me a fox, I would say, give me. Let's go B. Let's go B. No. It's not the Z. We're gonna go A minus, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Adam Fox is playing at a 74 point. Yeah, what is it? 30, yeah, 74 point pace right now. So he's still playing at a 74 point season as a defenseman, which is very impressive. His defense is still there. He's just maybe a step behind, maybe not fully healthy, maybe something's off. I don't know what it is, but he's still playing at a 70 point place as a defenseman. So I'm not gonna take the A away from him yet. I'm not gonna play with his A. I'm gonna keep it there.
What's wrong with you?
All right. Yeah, before you joined, he was calling us weird
Yeah,
Because of the
I'm
way
not
we were-
surprised. I'm not
we're-
surprised.
because of the way we were saying the grades like Frank, and then this guy starts saying shit like this, and now
Dude,
we're
he
off
just
the
dropped-
rails.
Keep
Listen to me,
Frank
you
the
just
Tank
dropped
away
2
from all
Uwus.
things athletes of teams I root for, please. Jesus Christ. This
D-Lo-
guy gives OG Anunoby one dap and shatters his fucking elbow with this
No,
big
literally,
rat.
bro. The guy has not played since, and now he had surgery because of the monstrosity of that dap. I've never seen
He's
anything
such
so
a-
much more
oh.
crispy in my life that it actually fucking injured somebody that they needed surgery.
Yeah. It's actually incredible. Just you want to talk about aura? Yeah, Jalen Brunson's the best athlete in New York.
For a little
Ooh,
word.
Yeah. Have you seen Frank the Tank? I don't. They're shattering
really
arms
gonna-
out here with simple daps. Passerby
No,
daps.
seriously.
And he's shattering arms. Talking
He
Brunson.
literally
Panarin,
leads
Judge.
New York
Outta
City in
here.
decibels per dap.
Yeah.
It's
Decibels
crazy.
per
Next.
Okay. All
We
right.
have Mika
It's been dog shit.
and Ajad.
Hey, I don't want to go, Evan. It's okay.
Who wants to
No.
grade Zibanejad first?
Mika Zibanejad.
Ooh.
C minus.
Ooh.
Mika has been, like Phil said, it's been dog shit. Mika's been dog shit.
It's been dog shit.
Mm.
He for a number one C, for a number one elite C, which his fan base likes to throw that around for Mika Zibanejad. He hasn't been doing that this year. He's not been doing that the last couple years at 5v5. his 5v5 numbers has just been terrible. I mean, what, he's got 5v5 goals this year. VC and Cooley has more than him. That's simply embarrassing. And for a guy that we love to give him credit for his ability on the power play. His one timer hasn't even been there at all this year. And him and Kreider are just not working. They need to be split up. I don't know why they're not split up yet, but I don't know. But yeah, C- for Mika.
With that.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Kreider's 52 goal season, and it wasn't all Zibanejad and Kreider. Obviously, a lot of them was attributed to the power play, but their chemistry that season was crazy, and you can go also back to his crazy run before COVID. He just absolutely has not even been, okay, really? He hasn't even been remotely close to any form of that at all. It's frustrating because, according to my close and dear friend Vetrano, he said he is the most underrated player in the league, which it's not even close. He might be the most overrated player in this league because he just sucks, dude. I mean, Evan, was it you who tweeted out that stat with or reposted that stat with Brett Howden or something like that?
Yeah,
that's what I was going to
it's
get
just
into.
Unbelievable. It is just absolutely atrocious. If that's your number one elite center for a cup contender, get out of here. Like that is complete banana dad.
Yeah, Zibanejad. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring that stat up. I think you're being too nice if you give him anything above a D plus, honestly. And I get that the points are there, but when his individual expected goals for per 60 is in Brett Howden and Joe Veleno territory, there are some serious issues. You expand it to the entire league. Cody fucking Glass is ahead of him, and that guy was nearly ran out of the league. Jack Studnicka is ahead of him. Like,
Jesus tits.
I don't know what to tell you. And then Morgan Frost, who's in Torts' doghouse, is pretty much has the same amount as him. Matty Beniers, who's having a bad year, same territory. You have Scott Lawton, who we don't want the Rangers to get. He's ahead of him. Nick Dowd, who I'm told I'm overrating, is just below him. Like, I don't know how you could give him any sort of grade other than higher than. You got to give him a D. You got to give him the D.
No, I'm giving him all 4 inches of that, dude, because it's just complete bullshit. Dude, I mean, you look at a guy like I don't even know. Like, it is just complete and utter robbery.
Yeah.
He's fucking robbing us blind.
Yeah, he has five 5v5 goals on the year. I'm not.
That's insane.
That is
I'm
unbelievable.
not giving him the benefit of the doubt here at all, and he's visibly bad on the offensive side of the puck. Like, defensively, even he's been so much more inconsistent this year too than years prior.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
He hasn't been the same.
Pull up that comment from Stinger.
This one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still make that trade.
Yeah, 100%.
The problem wasn't that trade. It was the fact that they shouldn't have extended him and given him that $8.5 million a year contract when you had a guy like Jack Eichel out there who you could have gotten. That's where they messed up. It wasn't that trade. It was the extension.
What they did with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I love that trade. It was amazing, and thank you. I was just about to say, shoot, dude, he has a rip. You gotta use it. And if you're gonna use
he's gonna hit the fucking net when he does
I was gonna say,
I think he still leads the league in missed shots.
Or not whiff on the puck.
He's gotta change his stick or something. Dude, he's gotta have a serious sit down with himself and fix this shit, because we know he could be a number one center. He's done it before, but like you gotta. It's inexcusable. I don't know.
I agree. I think Zibanejad gets, considering he's still somehow has 47 points in 51 games. He's playing at almost a point per game place. I'm not going to give him the D. I'm going to go with the C-, and I definitely think a sit down with Michael Franchise would go a long way. Or a sit down with himself would go a long way. Just figure it out. Dude, the talent is still there. I mean, it's not like the talent suddenly dissipates. How old is Zibanejad? 29 now?
Yeah, he's 29.
Yeah. He's not even on the wrong side of 30 yet. It doesn't just dissipate. You got to hope it'll come back, but right now he's not playing as a number one center. And if we want to go far in the playoffs this year, he needs to be playing like a number one center. Right now, he's not it.
I mean, you look at a guy like Marchand. He's old and he's still on the incline on like his past few years. So after
I
taking a
think
short
I
step
think one
back.
thing that's bugging me the most is that he's still getting more time on ice per game than Trocheck. I think on average that's the case.
Yep.
And I think right now Trocheck is our number one center, and I'm sick and
Yeah.
tired of seeing the Panarin line listed. So, like, even though it means nothing, I don't even want to see them ever again listed as a second line. I don't give a rat's ass that it means nothing. It's disrespectful. They have legitimately backpacked this team this year,
Mhm.
rucksacked this team.
That's what I was
It's
gonna say
absurd.
too, though. Like, how many of Zibanejad's points are from Panarin between the power
Right.
play and the times they double shift Panarin on that
Exactly.
line? Like, yeah,
That's the Stat Boy Steven thing. That ain't us.
Actually, a really good point. you
yeah.
made
If
too, Evan.
Statboy Steven's here, Statboy
whatever.
Steven, if you're
Bland
hearing,
passing it.
if you hear us, if you could hear us,
SBS.
I was gonna say, dude, I might have to say a prayer tonight or something. Just gotta answer me, dog.
No, but it's like when you said like we'll watch games and that first line will be dead, and then literally Lavi will put Panarin one shift with Kreider and Mika, and all of a sudden that line produces a goal. Now mostly it's because of Panarin, but still he's
Yeah,
able to
seriously.
get it going.
Did he
Blake
not
Wheeler.
just do it all himself
No, just
two
skip
nights
Blake Wheeler.
ago
He's F minus
against
12 from Blake.
Colorado?
He's
Oh my god,
F
Blake Wheeler.
minus, minus.
Dude,
Next.
Blake Wheeler is just that guy. First of all, it's a miracle he has any points this season. That guy is legitimately slow as shit. If you painted your wall, it would dry faster than Blake Wheeler on a back check. Not even worth talking about. He's get that shit off the airwaves. Terrible.
The Kit Kat legend Jimmy Vesey.
Dude, I'm honestly going like A minus. The kid's just been unreal. The kid, no, listen, hear me out. The guy is playing with Barca Gujar almost night in and night out.
Yep.
And he's
Yes.
still putting up more 5-on-5 goals than our number one center. And it's a
Thank
great
you.
bang for our buck. Dude, the kid mucks and grinds. I don't know. His defensive game is actually so much more improved than what we obviously had him from before. Dude, he's like a perfect fourth line guy. I'm so happy with him.
Betty Crock over here. This kid's cooking.
Dude, thank you. I mean, I'm
B
somewhat of a
plus.
shelf myself, but
D?
B plus.
Oh, I was saying, oh my god.
I'll
B
give
plus.
him. I'll give him a
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I'll go B plus too.
The reason why is because they, like, the past month or so, he's kind of been invisible, and there was a stretch too. I mean, it's kind of happening now. I'm not necessarily saying it's his fault, but that fourth line has just had matchup issues a lot at
Yeah.
points. So
100%.
I'll go B plus.
I'm
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm Gucci Mane with VC. He moves me.
That's a guy you could win with, seriously.
A Harvard A minus.
Vinny Trocheck.
A plus.
Yeah, A plus. The kid's been
Yeah, A
unbelievable.
plus. A plus. I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, this.
I'm
It's
just
a
saying,
masterpiece. I don't have many words.
I'm gonna say something real quick. It shot. I think why we're so impressed with him, obviously his points and his face-off percentage. But the guy was supposed to be our third line center this year,
Yep.
and he's
you're right.
literally emerged
You're
into our real number one center, not our fantasy number one center, and he's just been unbelievable. Continue.
Yeah,
Love him.
we all wanted him on the third line at the start of the year.
Yep.
And
He would have been he would have been perfect on the third line too.
and I was a little nervous, him stepping up on that 2C role when Hedel went down because
Mhm.
when we watched that preseason game against the Islanders, that Laffy, Panarin, Trocheck line was just they were horrible. They were a -3 that game, and I was like hesitant to see them. And Trocheck stepped up into that line. And he's been simply incredible this year, and a well-deserved All-Star bench from this year.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Tyler Pitlick.
Uh,
The lick pit gets a nice D from me.
Yeah.
Like, there are
Yeah.
games where he is noticeable,
Mhm.
but the problem is that there's very few of those games, and he
Yeah.
provides pretty much little to nothing offensively. And
Yeah.
no, I'm giving a D minus actually, because it should have been a red flag. The fact that he's been passed around like a blunt just year after year. His longest tenure on a team is just as long as Gerard Gallant behind an NHL bench. Like, that should have been a red flag right there for the guy. He is, I don't know, like 3 years in Edmonton, didn't even play a full season once there. Went to Dallas, played 2 years there. Cool, played a full season for one of the years. And then he goes to Philly, Arizona, Calgary, Montreal, St. Louis. You know what those teams have in common? All
Holy
those
shit.
teams, they sucked those years that he was there. I don't know. I don't think they
I
could
can't
have done better
remember
than
him
Tyler
on
Pitlick.
half of those teams. That's insane.
Yeah, I was talking about it randomly last night because my brother's like, was Tyler Pitlick on, I forgot what team he asked, but he's like, is Tyler Pitlick on that team? I'm like, I don't know. He's been everywhere.
It's like,
Probably.
50-50 shot no matter what team it is.
Yeah, he's
that's
probably
insane.
been there. He's been everywhere. That should have been a red flag. The guy's passed around like a blunt, and you're seeing why. You're seeing why. I don't think he's anything. They need to upgrade over him. D-.
Yeah, D+. Basically everything you said. There's not much more to say there.
I was gonna go C- only because he is one of the only, besides Cooley, of course, he's the only one that actually forechecks his ass off. But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, he lays
At
a
least
few
he
big
tries
hits.
hard.
Yeah, he actually does try hard, unlike
Fucking sweat.
Mr. Intangibles. But dude, I don't know.
Hate for that guy is unreal. Oh my god.
You're right. I'm sorry. I spoke out of line. That's just. I have a bad habit. I forgot to take my medication.
Dun 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 dun.
Did you give your grade? Lost track.
Such a jerk off joke. I'm gonna give it a C-.
Say great minds think alike.
I think you
Don't
guys are
ever
being too
accuse me.
nice. This one's gonna be tough. Artemi Panarin.
Oh my god.
I gotta give
Stop
the guy an
this.
F.
Yeah, he.
Okay, I'm gonna give him a B+ only because
Where's Pops?
he has no aura.
I'm gonna. No, I'll give. He's got to get an A+. He's got to be the MVP this year. I'm tired of seeing all these other players that are playing on teams where they're surrounded by a lot better players. Panarin has carried the fuck out of this team. I don't know why he's not.
Not even close.
I don't know why he's not the favorite for MVP. This team is not first in the division. Might not even be in the playoffs without Panarin this year.
Yeah, Panarin for me.
Oh, that's
A plus. Yeah, he should be no doubt. He should be a Hart favorite this year. He's absolutely carried this team. And listen, the second line, all of them on the second line have been good this year. But if it wasn't for Panarin this year, I don't know where this team would be, and I don't want to know where they would have been. So he's been absolutely brilliant this year.
He's literally the Daniel Jones of the Giants for the Rangers. The guy
Just carries.
every single play on or off the ice.
Take it to
Kid's
God
a
in
legend.
prayer.
Dude. Listen, all
God,
I'm
dude,
gonna say is
he's
this.
insane.
Artemi Panarin is like the small kid with the Jansport backpack in middle school with 8 textbooks in there. Motherfucker carrying. He's backpacked this rod. The best free agent signing in Rangers history. Possibly in NHL history. The
I was
dude
gonna
is-
say it's probably NHL history. I don't even think.
Bro, this kid, it's
No.
actually, look at what he did for Lafreniere alone. This dude is freaking backpacking this team completely and utterly. Like I'm trying to think of more outrageous and outlandish comparisons to use to elicit humor. For how ridiculous it is, how much he carries his team. I legitimately cannot. It's like Lizzo's stage. The dude is carrying.
Get this guy off the air.
Why? Could
In
you
my-
elaborate on that? Could you tell me why we're all laughing?
What was your grade Lafreniere season?
A
B+.
minus.
B plus. He's taken a big step this year. He's taken a big step this year. His playmaking abilities improved. Skating abilities improved. The only thing is, I want to see his finishing improve. Because
Someone say finishing.
for fuck's sake, this guy can't finish a chance.
No, I cannot.
Oh,
So, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
No, I'm going left.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna give my guy a solid A minus. Based off of what Matt said, basically. Because listen, he has unlocked a complete different level of his game. His confidence is off the chats. You know, if it was up to me, I'd be finishing quicker, but he just guy can't do it. If he got power plates on, you would probably need 15 seconds.
That I'm giving him a
15
B
seconds
plus.
all day.
Especially with good old Miss McRae in that stance. If you know what I'm saying.
Joe, how is you pleasing God?
I'll give him an A. No, I'll give him a B plus. I'll give him a B plus. Like
That's
we're
fair.
talking about the issues with them not being able to. I mean, even just shooting the puck alone, like forget just close chances that he's getting. There's issues where he's just not shooting the puck well. If he was getting power play minutes, though, he's easily a point per game right now, and it's hard to complain about that when we've seen really poor seasons from him prior. I mean, he's only 9 points away from tying his season high. He'll probably finish with like 50 points, which isn't on paper what you want from a first overall pick, but from what we've seen and like just visibly from the eye test too, at least you're getting a huge improvement.
Oh yeah, no, his puck carrying ability and his, like I said before, his confidence is actually just, it's been so much better this year. You've seen him do some crazy moves that me and Nick just look at each other like, what the fuck? Like, where did that
Yeah.
come from? Dude,
Yeah.
he's actually been, I'm so happy for him. And you're right, 50 points doesn't look good on the board, but if you actually consistently watch the games, you can see him like seriously carrying his own load and creating so many plays. And again, he leads the Rangers on what is it, 5-on-5 high danger chance. What the fuck you guys laughing at?
He's carrying the load but not finishing it.
You just can't get it out.
Tip. Good night.
No, but there has been times this year where he's looked like he's looked like the best forward in a game.
Oh, 100%.
Last night
Yeah,
last night he looked good.
He was mucking and breaking.
What I'm really liking is that for his first 3 seasons, Lafreniere had sporadic, like every 3 or 4 games, maybe even more than that, he'd have dominant shifts. Whereas I feel like we're getting pretty much every game, more than once a game, he's having a dominant shift. Where it's not really, I mean, listen, we like him to dominate every time he's on the ice, but just the fact that he's having multiple dominant shifts per game is pleasing. It's helping me finish.
All right.
Demonetized.
D, monetized.
Kreider.
Christ Kreider himself.
I
Mark. The butcher.
I'll give him a C plus. Like I really, he just chooses when he wants to show up. He might
Yes.
it might be the fakest 46 points I've ever seen from a player. Like every time I'm at the Garden and they announce like, oh, his 20th of the year,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you when the fuck else he scored because he just quietly scores goals and he doesn't have the tip as much this year. He needs to get the tip back. He might need to go golfing again for that, but I don't know. He's just having a quiet season in terms of point production because he gets points and then it's pretty much the job is done. He could go home now. You don't see him the rest of the game. He's invisible, and it feels like if he is getting points, it's in Chris Paul moments because I couldn't remember like a lot of clutch moments where he's getting points. Like maybe a handful of times throughout the season, like one of the games on the Western Canadian road trip early in the year.
Yeah, he was pretty clutch.
In
on that.
overtime against Vancouver, but where he tripped Pedersen should have been called, but the Rangers won that game, so it was cool. But still, I don't know. I gotta give him a C plus.
Yeah.
Christ Kreider for me, C minus. I mean, look, I understand the guy can walk on water and that's all great, but
Mm-hmm.
in terms of his hockey ability, nah. He's been like you said, Evan. Like, sure, he does rack up points, but it's like there's so many times in a game where you just don't notice him at all, and especially for a guy like who, you know, he's not as fast as he was earlier in his career, but he's still got a decent pace. He's still got a big body, and he just doesn't use it. He's invisible most nights.
Wish he used the speed more. This is
Absolutely.
why this is why they should have traded him. They could have got a first and
Jason
Robertson.
Probably
Okay,
could
I
have
got-
got more than that. First
I would die.
mid-round pick prospect. Dude, you gotta figure at the time where we would have traded Kreider, he would have yielded a similar package to what Nash got. First round pick, mid round pick, roster player, prospect. That was presumed to be the package.
Well, the rumored one that Statboy Steven was telling Matt and I about last time he was on was that it was Robertson in a first, and they said no to that.
Nicholas
mean-
Robertson?
What'd you say?
Jason
Nope,
Robertson.
Jason Robertson.
Jason.
Oh, I was gonna say Nicholas Robertson. Fucking, where's Pops at? Jason Robertson in the first?
Yeah, it was Jason Robertson in the first, and they turned it
God.
down. Yeah.
WWVE.
Well, I mean, we won't be there because they didn't do
We
it.
would have.
Yeah, we should have.
I would have shipped
Should've.
Kreider out to break the Hyman even like a couple off seasons
Bro.
ago if they brought him in. I was beating the drum
Mhm.
to break the
You're beating
Hyman,
the
but they
Hyman.
didn't.
He was just pounding it, Grace. Zach Hyman, Grace. Hockey player. She heard Hyman. She looks at me like, oh, what are you talking about over there, Hyman? It's just the guys chatting. All right? Just some Hyman chatter.
Honestly, we should have traded Kreider for Josh Archibald. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That's fair.
All I'm saying.
I'd do it for nothing.
All I'm saying.
Yeah,
Hyman the D for
I mean,
Kreider.
if you want to look at trade options for Kreider, I mean, third time's the charm. Get Tyler Matt on the squad like yesterday. I mean, I'm gonna have to go with the solid C though. In all seriousness, the guy just, you're right. The most undeserving was a 46-point season. He chooses when to show up, and even when he
Yeah.
doesn't show up, it's just such a net negative because you're like, this guy could be so much better if he looks like he gives a shit, but he doesn't, and it's frustrating considering he's 2 seasons removed from a 52 goal season, and I mean if you look at his stats last year, I mean he wasn't really no better, but it's just unbelievable how bad night in night out he is, and then he has his like 2 moments. One's on a penalty kill, a short break penalty kill, and the other is like with a usual minute and a half left in the game trying to get back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He'll score
And
a
even
goal to
then,
put us
he's
up
not there.
5-1, then turn,
Yeah.
fucking
Chris
scream,
Paul.
wave his arms, punch the
Chris
boards.
Paul.
Yeah, it will be Chris Paul, reverse Chris Paul, where he's just getting, like you said, it makes it 5-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's insane. I'm so sick of the guy.
Yeah, it's tough to stick a letter to Kreider. Probably go C. C. I could go O. No, maybe C or maybe K.
Fuck it.
We'll go
Let's
C.
just give him a T.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll ride his C.
Capo Caco.
Speaking of cock, let's go.
Oh my god.
Jesus fucking
This
Christ.
guy is off the rails.
Let's- Dude, I'm delirious right now. I don't know what I got. I literally been laying in bed sick all day, waiting for the
I
guy.
know what
It's like,
Kreider
"Yeah,
got."
I know what Kreider got. He didn't get the cock. Cock, we're gonna give a C because the offense isn't there, but he's arguably the best two-way forward on the Rangers right now. He's probably the best defensive forward on the Rangers right now. Maybe actually probably behind Trocheck, but still 1 or 2. He's the number 1, number 2 defensive forward on the Rangers right now. I'm gonna stick with a C for him because of that. If his offense was there and he was producing at even a 40-point pace, I'd have him at a B.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, C minus.
Yeah.
It sucks because I said Kako was gonna break out this year. He was gonna get, like I said earlier, 30 goals, 30 assists, 60 points this year. And listen, the injury did suck for him, but even before the injury, he was not looking good. He wasn't even doing like the same kind of things like we were kind of hyping him up like the last couple years in terms of using his body down low, protecting the puck. He wasn't even doing that, and the offense just not there. And sure, like he's decent defensively, but the offense just not there. I thought he was kind of treated a bit unfairly when he got taken off the first line because I didn't think it was all him. Meek and Kreider have to take a lot more responsibility for the poor play on the first line, but even down on the third line with Brodzinski and Cooley, he's not even looking like the best player on that line, which is a bit disappointing. And like you watch him in games, there's too many times where he's not using his body to get to the front of the net. He's not shooting. He's shooting a lot more from the perimeter.
He's just holding the puck around the
he's-
perimeter.
he's on the perimeter, and yeah, so
which is great as a complementary piece. But what
Mhm.
frustrates me the most is going back and watching those Kako highlights from the World Championships where he was, as an individual, dominant. He did not need to be a piece; he was the piece, and just hasn't been the piece since he got here. And I know the NHL is a higher level than the World Championships, but if he was doing that at 17, 18, why can't he do that at 23?
Dude, it's that European ice or whatever. I'm serious.
Yeah,
I mean, he was dominating. He had
It
so
could
much
be my
confidence.
European ass for all I care. I mean, you got to figure it out.
I'm gonna give him like a C plus. I mean, like maybe a B minus. I don't know. I'm stuck between the two. But
Dude,
I
if he
mean,
could score, he would get a B. But the dude has
Oh,
the dude
100%.
cannot
If he
get
could-
points.
I think it was Eddie Oach, like you said last night, or someone like that. But dude, perimeter play is great, but he just does not attack the middle of the ice.
Yeah,
and
The last time I saw him
Go to
attack
the
the middle of
paint.
the ice was a fucking shootout, probably.
and
And
his
even then, he still took a wide.
yeah, he still went
I don't
behind the net with the puck.
and his skating hasn't improved at all. He's just
Yeah,
he's
not
he's
really.
not quick.
He's not.
I mean, you see so many guys drafted in like the
He's
fourth
not
round
Jesper.
making their debut or something, and they're just light years faster than him, and
hmm
it's just frustrating. Obviously, second overall pick, expecting to be just
But
this
you could
God.
be a not fast skater and still be dominant in the NHL, like Mikko Rantanen. I feel like every time I watch him, he never
Stone.
really blows me away with his speed. Mark Stone, Leandro Seider. Like, you don't need to be fast to be dominant, but
You
it
need to
also
have the
helps a little
ability to
bit.
slow the game around you, though, and I
Right.
feel like Kako doesn't have that. Draisaitl clearly does. I mean, the kid's
Yeah.
just. I mean, he's okay. He's not terrible,
I mean, he's
but I
decent.
mean,
He's like a top 40 center, maybe.
maybe. But I mean, I don't know. He has so much potential just to be so literally a second coming of Mark Stone, and it's just I haven't seen much of it yet.
Whatever you trade him away for will never recover what he could
Oh,
bring. 'cause
absolutely.
his value is just so low.
But the lights literally might be too bright for the kid. I don't know.
Possible.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Barkley, no Gojo. F minus
Minus.
minus
Minus.
minus
Minus.
minus
Minus.
minus
Minus.
minus minus minus
Mine.
minus.
Mine.
minus.
All right, Will Cooley.
Dude,
Nick, try not to
I
make
was
a
gonna
joke.
say A minus. I'm gonna say A minus.
A minus for Cooley. He's came up. He's played
Nick's
very-
trying not to make a joke right now. I could tell. He's trying not to.
No, Cooley for me. He stepped up this year. He had an impressive preseason. He impressed Laviolette. He came up. He's played very well. I mean, on the third line, he's arguably like consistently just in terms of guys who's rotated on and off that third line. He's been the best player. He
Oh, yeah.
forechecks well. He's shown the ability he can chip in with a goal or two. Listen, he'll never become like a top 6 player, but he could become a very good third liner on a cup contender.
100%. I
100%.
think he's like a career third line guy, but that's not a bad
Dude, you
thing. That's
say
like
that.
the
He
guy
has
you
glimpses
win
with his hands, bro. I don't know.
And
I
you're
think
right,
that
and
kid
you're
can be
right,
sick.
but I just don't see. I mean, I hope he does. I mean, that'd be great if he can become a top 6 forward. But the way he plays in today's NHL, I don't see him being anything more than a third liner. And I hope he achieves it. And he had a great game when he was on the first line. He looked great. He has a sick toe drag release, better than Matthews. Not gonna lie. But all I'm gonna say is A minus 100%. It could easily become an A. The kid leads the league for rookie hits, and I think he's like 30 ahead of the second guy, and I think he's 5th in the league. Kid hits. He's tough fuck. I mean, you're already seeing guys like trying to get out of the way with the puck when he's on the ice. His impact already has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm going with an A because he's been the most consistent guy in that bottom 6. The only thing that I would like, it's weird. He throws so many hits, but I feel like his physicality is quiet. I want his physical presence to be more noticeable. That's the only reason I didn't go with an A+, honestly. Otherwise, I would, because he's pretty much everything you'd want in a bottom 6 player outside of the fact that his physical presence isn't, like, it's not obnoxious as most players is. I'd like him to be more of an asshole, but
Yeah.
if he could be a middle 6 piece, then for this team down the road, which I think he could, I'm not complaining. Like a guy that's you want ideally on your third line, but you have an injury in your top 6. You don't have a problem plugging Will Cooley up there into the top 6. I think this is the type of player this team has been missing. And I think underratedly, we don't talk about enough of his impact because if they didn't have his point production right now, because he's even putting up, I think he has more even straight goals than Zibanejad too.
He does, yep.
Shocker. Who doesn't? I do.
True. But regardless, if he didn't make the roster and on opening night, you could argue this team's in a worse spot because who's playing there? Then Benino and Pitlick would have got reps every day. For all we know, Nick Benino's still on this team right now. So I got to go with an A easily.
Boy, oh boy. Will Cooley. Some people like eyes, some people like legs, chest, some like armpit hair, some like feet, but me, I'm a Cooley guy. I like to get back there and just look at the Cooley. This kid has been magnificent. Physical.
It's a magnificent Cooley.
It's a magnificent, round, voluptuous, ferocious, doesn't smell, well manicured, it's taken care of,
Malleable.
malleable, it's wiped, it's not left to crust. It's just the Cooley man. Just
Oh my god.
like after I take a Shattenkirk, I wipe my Cooley. And he's just the fucking man. In all seriousness, though, I love the kid. I see a similar role, obviously not to the same extent, but almost like a poor man's or slightly less than Tom Wilson-esque player in Will Cooley, in that he has the talent, he has the hands, he can skate well, he's got a good shot, he's got all the makings to be a good player, but he does have that asshole to him. He's very physical. He's reliable defensively. He's by no means, there's not a single facet of his game where it's like, damn, this kid's a net negative here. He's just good at everything. He's solid at everything. He's still young. I think Will Cooley's peak is like a 25 goal, less than 20 assist guy that you could, plug and chug on any of your top 3 lines. It's going to be reliable. No, anywhere you put him, it's going to be a physical presence, and it's just, I'm a big Cooley fan. I'm going to go with a flat A.
So what you're saying? It's the
That's fair.
holidays. It's the holiday season.
It's the holiday sneezing. It's
Okay.
it's like LeBron James Sprite cranberry commercial. This is holiday season.
I do have to say something real quick. I could, throughout his somewhere in his career, I could probably see him hitting 230 hits in a season, if not more.
Yeah, I could see it.
The kid just
especially with the
and
more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, 100%. I mean, he's not getting a lot of minutes per night, but obviously we have to center or put out our first line more minutes. And actually, I want to change my answer. I want to give him an A. And actually, he's pushing for an A+ because the kid wasn't even supposed to make the team this year. And not only that,
against
he's
expectations,
been more of a role player than everyone on our fucking first line. And
Mhm.
and that's our their fake first line, but like the kid has been nothing but excellent. I think night in
Yeah,
night
he's
out.
doing what he's supposed to.
Exactly. I mean,
Exactly.
for what the role he was given, I mean, he's great. He's great.
As he gets older, I mean, dude, he's only going to get bigger. He's only going to get faster. He's only going to get better. He's already a very solid, well-rounded third-line player. Right? If he's allowed to continue to grow and he stays healthy and everything works out well, he's going to be a good player in this league. I just hope the Rangers don't fucking make the mistake of trading him away because we know we don't like good young players.
Reverse Mike Tomlin AB to that one.
Y'all know that is happening.
Last player, Johnny Broadway.
Give him a flat C.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Pretty indifferent.
They could do better.
He's the type of guy you expect. He's a borderline AHL fourth liner. Look, if you expect Johnny Bronczewski to come in for a long period of time and be a 3C, then it's not going to be pretty. He hasn't been terrible, but obviously it's a big downgrade from what Filipino would be giving us right now.
100%. Yeah, considering he was not expected to even play in the NHL at all and just be the random every now and again call up, to I think he's got, does he have expectations against what he's actually doing? You just give him a flat C. I mean, he's not a net negative. He's not a detriment. You could obviously do better. He's just okay. He just works. It is what it is. It's for the money he makes. He's not hurting us. So I'm cool with him. I'm coolly with him.
Yeah, I mean, some shifts he legitimately reminds me of like Trocheck, like the way he skates and plays. I think he's trying to take after his game. But I mean, he has. I'm gonna say it again. He has a rip.
Yeah.
kid could shoot the puck, and we saw it against Tampa, even though it was a kind of soft goal. Listen, I'm gonna give him a C, but I just maybe even a C plus because again he's fulfilling roles that weren't even supposed to be his, and he's actually standing up. He's not a net negative on most nights. I mean, yeah, I think he's doing great for what for what he is.
My favorite thing is when fans think he's a rookie. I still see fans calling him a rookie. I like this Brzezinski kid. He's a good rookie.
Fucking
Okay.
30.
Do they know?
Yeah, sure.
How do we tell him?
How do we tell?
How do we tell?
I don't got the heart to tell them.
Want to go through the trade target list now?
Yeah.
Why not?
Which Joe just didn't send in his, but it's fine.
Sorry,
he thinks he can just show up to class and just collect
Hey,
participation.
Professor, I forgot
grades.
to do my homework. Could just
He forgot to do the homework.
No, we're not role playing like that. Get out of here.
Fuck.
Dog ate my
I
homework. It's just
tried. You can't
bugging
say I
me
didn't
back
try. You cannot say I didn't try. That's all I'm saying.
All right, we'll go through the trade list though.
I'll make one up on the
in.
spot.
Wait.
by
We're
the way.
waiting for Nico. Nico's on the way.
Yeah, for sure he is.
Where's
Yeah.
Pops?
Nick, we're going through your list first.
No.
Too bad.
Fine.
At 5, you have Trevor Zegras.
Yes,
Explain.
sir. My big thing is now this is not based off of realism. This is literally just pulling 5 names from the trade bait board list. The reason I have Trevor Zegras even on my top 5 is because I made mention of this in our group chat earlier. Besides Artemi Panarin, I really don't feel like the Rangers have any players with aura, any players that are exciting, electric, that create excitement. I think bringing in a guy like Trevor Zegras, even though I don't think he'd be a monumental piece of this team, he'd be a really good second-line center or top-line winger, whatever you decide to put him at, but just have a guy with flair that creates excitement, that when he's on the ice, defenders are kind of scared of him, that he's going to put him in a mixer. I enjoy that. I enjoy having the threat of an exciting play happening and a defenseman getting embarrassed. I love that, and I think that's something the Rangers really don't have. The mixture of speed and talent with Zegras and age, young age, grew up a Rangers fan. Like, I think it'd be a great fit with the Rangers if it was at all possible. The problem is it's not.
I'm still anti-Zegras. Nothing's going to change my mind. Nothing's going to change my mind, but... What'd you say?
Said all right, Steven Crowder. Louder with Crowder over here.
No, I don't know. Like, I just feel like the issue is I feel like if anything, he's more of the same of what this team has, and it's going to cause more issues in terms of the fact that I don't know, like they need guys that are going to be more responsible on both sides of the puck, and they need someone that's going to drive play. I just don't see Zegras being someone that's going to drive play. And like I've mentioned before, I don't think he takes the next step here because it's the Rangers at the end of the day. He's going to play on the 4th line.
I feel like he'd be sick with the Rangers, and my counter to that is, I mean, look at what he did when his teammate, and this is not a knock on the guy, but his best fucking line mate at one point was Sonny Milano, and he was play driving. I mean, obviously it hasn't been there this year. He gets hurt twice. I don't know. I think, dude, imagine Zegras and Panarin and Trocheck on line. It'd be kind of fucking hot. I'm not advocating to remove Laffy, but I'm just saying. Or do even put Cock with Zegras. You have him mucking down low, snapping it behind the net with Zegras. You get Z Cock would be the line. ZZ Cock. Brzezinski, Zegras, Kakko. That would be insane.
At number 4, you have a player that I would agree with. You got Matthew Joseph. I am huge.
Bring him in.
I don't have him on my list, but I would love Matthew
He is my
Joseph.
honorable mention.
Dude, you're talking about a guy that does everything, is a mother effort to play against. He's fast. I think his takeaways per 60, I might be talking out of my coolie, so don't quote me on this, but I believe his takeaways per 60 is top 10 in the NHL. Big Matthew Joseph fan. Good at everything. Solid. Cheap. Young.
3, you have Eberle.
Yeah, just probably my favorite EA Sports NHL listed sniper that's available. Just solid all around, even though he doesn't shoot the puck like a sniper would. He's more of a playmaker. But yeah, I don't know. Just Jordan Eberle. Just probably can get him for relatively cheap. So I don't know. Doesn't move me, but yeah, they're.
Nicholas Aube-Kubel at your 2 spot.
Let's not claim him on waivers. Let's make sure we give up assets to get him. By the by,
What'd you say?
I said let's make sure we don't claim him off waivers. Let's wait till we have to give up assets to acquire him.
Yeah, the Rangers way.
Been advocating for this guy for years. I remember 3 years ago, my buddy who was a Flyers fan kept telling me about this Aube-Kubel kid on the 4th line that was freaking sick. And the day they put him on waivers, he actually nearly broke down in the locker room. He's like, the Flyers suck and they just got rid of my favorite player. Talking about Perry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was a big Aube-Kubel guy.
Yeah. Love Aube-Kubel.
At number 1, you got Chychrun.
Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious one. I mean, need help on that left side D. And you got a guy with a good shot, good defensively, moves the puck well. Obviously, there's some injury issues there, which makes me a little bit weary. However, I might be a risk I'm willing to take depending on the price. That's my only thing. Like, I think if you're bringing him in to be on the top pair, like my thing is this, right? I know people say, oh, you got to move Miller in a deal. If you could hold on to Miller, I'm all over it because you could do a Lindgren on the 3rd pair type deal and then do Fox Chychrun or Trouba Chychrun and Fox Miller. I don't give much of a hoot so long as Miller doesn't get moved because I feel like his upside is just too. It's still too good for Miller for the upside. I want to move him for Chychrun because again, Chychrun UFA soon, injured a lot. It's a risk. It's a risk.
Good job on the homework, Nick. Good job.
Hey,
Yeller.
All right, Matt. At number 5, you got Matthew Joseph too. You got Joseph on your list.
Yeah, this one for me kind of like I could either go either way, either Joseph or Kubel, but Joseph, like everything Nick said, Joseph is everything that the Rangers lack this year. Speed, forechecking ability. Just he's a prick to play against, he also chip in on the offensive side with goals. I mean, even like people might have the concern of like, oh, but what if he has to come up like into a top 6 role? He could even do that because there's been games this year where he's played with I think with Stützle and Giroux on a line, and he's looked very good with those too. So I think even if he had to come into a top 6 role, I think he could do a fine job. But yeah, Joseph, he's a guy I want, and then Kubel, same thing. Like, just solid all around guy would improve our 4th line.
Nick Dowd at 4.
Yeah, Dowd.
4th round pick, Nick Dowd.
Yeah, Nick Dowd, kind of like with Kubel, just a solid, guy who'd fit in well in the 3C. And listen, we're desperately calling out for a 3C, and we desperately need help on that 3rd line. He's a solid guy. He's nothing special, but he could come and do a job and help this team on a playoff push.
I'd be careful with those words. You're talking to the one who's driving the Nick Dowd bus, but you have Vatrano at 3.
Yeah, Vatrano. Listen, we know what Vatrano's all about. He came here in 21-22 at the trade deadline. He helped propel this team get to Game 6 of the conference final, and he was actually one of the very few right wingers that came onto that first line and looked good along with Mika and Kreider. So depending on what the price is, I know we've seen a lot of talk saying that probably if the Rangers were to get Vatrano, it would include Henrique. I'm not that big on Henrique, but it depends on the package, but Vatrano is ideally a guy I would want.
Eberle at 2.
Yeah, I'm a big Jordan Eberle guy. He's played well so far in Seattle. He's not had the best year this year, but I mean Seattle as a whole of an organization hasn't had the best year. But he's a guy that played in New York, so he knows what it takes to play here, and he's played under the defensive system in Barry Trotz, so he knows how to do the defensive work. And ideally, if we ever want to get back to that, defensive shape that Laviolette had us in the beginning of the year, I think Jordan Eberle could do a solid job, especially on that first line.
And then you got Chychrun at 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Chychrun is everything we want K'Andre Miller to be. The only thing is Jacob Chychrun has already established himself in this league. Good two-way player, good on both sides of the puck. Yeah, it depends on what the package would be and if Ottawa's, ready to get rid of him.
Yeah, I would agree. Joe, give your list.
Okay, so I got 2 honorable mentions. One being Nick Dowd. Obviously, like Matt said, we do need a third line center, but the price is just way too high. As much as I would love him, and then obviously, it blanked on me. Fuck. All right, I'm just gonna go to number 5. That's kind of funny. Number 5, we have Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner. Boone Jenner. I mean, he's just a guy you could win with. I could see. I mean, if our third line's gonna continue to be this kind of like slow pace, like grindy game, I think he'd fit perfectly down there. For number 4, I do have Nick Dowd. I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. Albay Kubel. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, teacher. I do have Albay Kubel. Kid Mux. He's actually disgusting. I've watched a few
He's a
Capitals
muck
I
games.
see what you're doing. You're trying to get a better grade here.
Yeah.
He used ChatGPT for this list.
Number 3, I have Jordan Eberle.
This guy's unbelievable.
Basically, I'm just gonna steal what Matt said. Guy knows how to play a defensive style, especially under Barry Trotz. Coming off of playing under Barry Trotz, he's been in high stress situations. I mean, look where he was at with Edmonton. Are you guys ready for my number 2?
Yes.
I would love to see your number 2.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Right out of the coolie.
The
Number
other
2.
Frank the Tank. Okay, dude. I'm trying to do my job here.
Yeah, we're heckling right now. We're the cool kids sitting in the back of the class.
Ooh, you suck.
Come on.
Number
you
2.
nerd.
I remember my other honorable mention.
Jesus fucking Christ.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting nervous. Tommy Novak was my other honorable mention. I love the kid. Number 2,
Okay.
Frank Vetrano. I mean, come on. Kid's just unbelievable. He's all right at hockey. I've seen better. Unbelievable wrist shot. It's worked with us before. We can pull another Tyler Mott and just get him a second time and then get bounced in this first round. Number 1 is a guy who is okay. He's in a very shitty place.
It's a guy. Okay.
Yeah. His name is Jacob Chikrin.
Okay.
Now, I would like
a new
another
one.
Jacob on my hockey team. I think he's great. And just to basically go off what Matt said again, because I'm stealing his answers, because he let me copy off his homework last night. He is literally he's literally Keandre Miller if Keandre Miller was just established and he actually had the confidence to do things. His first game with Ottawa was against us last year. If I could be wrong, and I just saw him under a real system, and it was just he's such a versatile player. He can be offensive when he needs to be. He could also be defensive when he needs to be.
He's also
And he's just-
shredded.
And he's also shredded, and he has a great shot, and he's great. He's actually a really good skater. But like Nick said, his injuries are a little bit scary.
Joe,
Now that fucking this copycat's GPT looking motherfucker's done, can we do a fantasy camp? It'll never happen. Mike Tomlin, maybe.
Okay, you just cut off
top
Mac
five-
ahead.
No, I was gonna say, why'd you tell him that I shared my Google Doc with you? It's not cool, man.
I didn't. That's just rumors.
No.
No,
No,
it's in that
it's
group
just
chat.
rumors.
Cut the
I'm
shit.
not sharing my Google Doc.
It's the other Matt. It's the other Matt. I never said.
Oh, the other.
It was the other Matt. Yeah.
You did the other
Matt-
Matt with a last name so long you can't fit it on a jersey. Yeah, my asshole.
No, it's Matt Albay Kubel. That's all.
We're about to get though to an unrealistic list. I'll fire off Nico's list because his list is wild. He's got Eberle and Novak as the honorable mentions, which
That's
fair,
crazy. That's like half of mine.
It is. His number 1 option is very unrealistic. We'll get to it, but Novak didn't make my honorable mention list. Could have, but I already have like 4 honorable mentions. 5 years Vetrano. That's not surprising. He's all for Yanni Gord. He's for Yanni Gord.
Moral.
He's driving the Boone Jenner bus. That I know. He's the he's the CEO of the Boone Jenner fan club. He so much so that he got hate on Twitter because he decided to propose a trade package. I think it was Jones, Kako, and a first for Boone Jenner. That's how bad he wants Boone Jenner on the team.
Yeah.
And he got hate for that trade proposal. Jacob Chickering has it too. Not really a surprise there. And then he has Gensel at 1.
Yeah, y'all
Nico.
know that ain't happening.
Nico's gotta stop smoking because y'all know they ain't happening.
Get
So I
get-
know why his list is just
yeah.
wow. His list is unreasonable. It's because
I'm not
he
gonna
doesn't
lie to
show
you.
up to these. That's probably why.
Ooh,
Nico
not
not
lie
showing
to
up.
you.
he's taking shots.
And the fact that he's not coming on the trip and I can't share a bed with him, kind of pissed. But it's all right. I'll let that one slide.
I was gonna when I made the fantasy can't list joke, I was just gonna read off his list. I'm really disappointed you showed it.
Jones, Kako, and a first for Jenner. That's what Nico said he would do. But
I
like I
might
said,
fight that kid on site.
I have 4
Problem.
honorable mentions because there's one that's unrealistic, I'll admit. But hear me out. All I'm saying, if Timothy Liljegren becomes available, I am moving Braden Schneider and a draft pick to go get this guy because he plays pretty much the perfect role that the Rangers need. He's an RFA after this year, so that's the only problem. I don't know the appetite Toronto's going to want to have to move the guy, but if they want someone else on the blue line, like a Braden Schneider type, which I think they kind of need a Schneider type on the blue line. Like, all jokes aside, I know that he's asked some nights, but he could be more of a physical defenseman, which I think Toronto does need in their lineup. I think they already have too much of the similar player with Liljegren, but I think it would be a good even swap between those two. I have Chychrun there for obvious reasons because of the what we mentioned before, how he would be a more established Miller. Noah Hannafin, the reason I have him as an honorable mention is because he would cost too many assets, and I think that's the Pivot podcast right there. And then I have Barrett Bonov, who's had a couple of sneaky good seasons.
Yeah.
I think he would help out the bottom 6, and he would be a very cheap asset too. But at number 5, I got Tanev because, like I mentioned, the Rangers desperately need help on the blue line. And the only issue is, could he be comfortable playing the left shot because of the fact that if he comes here, they'd probably want to move Gustafsson out instead of moving Schneider out. So Tanev, he would add some stability to the blue line, plays more of a defensive style game. That's why the points are very low. At 4, I have Aube Kubel. I don't think I need to add any more to what you guys were saying. He's a pain in the ass to play against. He actually plays good defensively as well, which, this bottom 6 has an issue of. At 3, I have Nick Dowd. Like I said, I've been beating the Nick Dowd drum. I don't care what people say. He could play the 3C. I'm tired of people saying that he can't. He has more even strength goals than Mika Zibanejad this year, or 5v5 goals at least. So that's good enough for me. He doesn't get power play minutes. 13 points in 39 games played, I think is fine for a 3C. Plus, he's going to be playing with potentially Cooley and Kako. I think the points could actually go up if that line gets going. So Nick Dowd's my 3rd option. At 2, I have Vetrano. This team needs help on the top line right wing. He's proven to be here before. The guy scores goals at will. The problem is he's streaky a bit, but still, we know the type of game Vetrano plays. And then at 1, I got Jordan Eberle. I think Eberle is the perfect fit for this team, and he's the one rental I'd be okay with the Rangers moving a 1st-round pick for if they want to get over the whole Sphere bullshit. I think that Eberle is the play driver that this team's missing, and like you guys were talking about, he knows how to play a good 2-way style of game too. So I got him at 1. And I don't think Buchnevich is on the market. I thought about putting him on my list, but I don't think it's going to happen.
He's on the PSN trade bait board. I don't think he's in the Rangers market, but he's going to get traded to Pittsburgh or something like that. And just, it's only natural he comes back to bite us in the ass on a divisional rivals team. So you've been forewarned.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
I would like to see it again because I love Boot growing up. The kid was sick.
Bucci gang.
But, I mean, it sucks. I would have put him in my honorable mention, but
it's just an ass market, by the way. Like, there's no good players available.
It's such a seller's market. It's starting to really piss me
100%.
off.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you see Sean Monahan getting a first-round pick,
That's
like, yeah.
ridiculous.
Hey, what's wrong with Sean Monahan?
nothing. He's just the Antoine Vermette version of this trade deadline.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like a poor man. He's not even like Antoine Vermette.
Yeah,
like
he's
a
not
poor
even
man's
Antoine Vermette. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find like some underrated guys before we started. I couldn't. That's how I ended up finding Ty Emerson because I'm trying to find some like sneaky good defenseman. That's how I got Liljegren, who has the same amount of points as Ty Emerson, who the Rangers decided to waive. But
Dude, no one wanted to listen to me on Emerson. I kept saying that kid's solid.
What
No one
is
would listen.
what does TJ Brody's car look like?
I
Putt poop.
I don't know, but I can tell you my eyeballs say that he sucks. So I'm
I was
not
gonna say,
I'm not a
don't
TJ
even-
Brody guy.
I liked him before this year. I thought last
Me
year he had a
too.
solid year, but he's been not good this year.
Yeah, he
He's
hasn't
pretty
been
boob.
good. Like the defensive market sucks. The only other guy that I think could be sneaky good for the Rangers to pick up is Euro Vakanainen. If Anaheim wants to move him, he's another RFA, so
That
it
would
might
be
not
nice.
happen. But
Alex Carrier.
I
Have
think
you
he'd
gone
be
over him?
solid. Carrier,
So-
I think would be good, but he might cost a first round pick. Outside of that,
That's fucking ridiculous. If we're
No,
talking
I
about
mean-
Alexander Carrier is a first round pick. But the
it
fact that
could
it's
happen.
real,
Honestly, it could.
It's ridiculous. Dude, honestly, the Raiders should just be sellers. I mean, at
a
this
first for
point
Blake
in
Wheeler.
time, bro, you might legitimately get a second round pick for that slow ass motherfucker. Like,
Two
I don't know. I'm just slaying. You probably sell. Well, I don't know. We don't really have anything to sell.
Listen, with
There,
with
yeah.
the intangibles per 60 and the cups per 60, I think you could get 2 first-round picks for Barkley Goodrow.
All I'm saying.
Just saying.
Bro, you
I
might
mean,
get 3.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There is another guy out in the West that kind of piqued my interest. Great shot. Colin Blackwell is a fantastic skater,
Oh my god.
and
asshole.
he's on the cheap this year. Struggling
Yeah,
Blackhawks team.
No.
You
Yeah,
down
if
your
the Hartford
generational
Wolfpack are
talent.
looking to make an acquisition, I'll let them know that Blackwell's available.
And
You know what?
Jared Tenorti.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jared Tenorti.
You know what's sad though? I realistically could see the Rangers doing a Tyler Johnson, Colin Blackwell package deal.
If you speak that into existence, I'm not even joking. I'm if I say what I want to say, I'll be suspended.
W B.
You want to get bitch slapped?
Bro forgot how to spell.
We're about to play front hand backhand in a second. Talking about Blackwell and Tyler Johnson.
I just wouldn't be shocked. It would be such a Rangers
It'd
thing.
be
I was
so
gonna say it's the most
stupid.
Ranger shit.
Yeah, get a reunion with a guy that was overrated here and that they let go for a reason, and
Yeah.
then go get Tyler Johnson, who is allergic to playing full seasons. And
And
if it was a decade ago, I'd be cool with them giving up a first round pick for him, but it's not.
Yeah, a decade ago.
And
Yeah.
they'll probably trade Adam Sikora too.
Yeah, we'll find a way. We'll find a reason to fucking trade that kid.
I'm
He's been nothing
I'm
but
okay
good.
with the Rangers. I don't know. I don't want to say not doing a single thing, because obviously if we want to win, something's got to be done. But this market is so weak. Whatever you pay to get a player, you will never get your money's back. It's just I don't know.
Unless you win the cup.
There's some teams that are on the bubble that should just sell off some of their assets. Like I'm looking at forwards right now. If the Devils don't heat up a bit before the deadline, I'm trading Tyler to Foley easily. Like
Oh,
they could,
100%.
they could fetch a stupid return. I know that they might not get the loss that they got with Sharon Govich back, but because he's actually been solid this year, but they could get a very good return for Tyler Toffoli this year.
They could probably get what do you think? A first and a mid, probably high, not high prospect, but a solid prospect.
Yeah, they could get a first and like a mid-level prospect, especially if Gensel's going to get the rumored package that they have for him. I think that Toffoli could get, he's probably going to get a lesser return because he's a lesser player, but he could get like a similar type return in that regard where it's a first and a prospect instead of like a first and 2 prospects or 2 picks and a prospect.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
that's why I was about to say Kyle Dubas. If he's smart, he's got to get his head out of his ass and trade Jake Gensel right now.
He's not
100%.
smart. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I don't
You
see the
should.
Penguins really. I mean, I could see them make the playoffs, but I think if you just because for the future of your team, just sell. It's okay. If the Rangers were in that situation, I'd be just ship off some guys. Smell you,
Yeah.
Kreider. Smell you, Zib.
I
You know what I'm
just-
saying? But
I just don't think they're gonna sell because that's not the Kyle Dubas way. Like, I don't know how he hasn't learned his lesson at all from what happened in Toronto. Like, Pittsburgh fans were mad at me because I said Carlson wasn't gonna move the needle for that team, and sure enough,
He's
they're
moved it
still in the
backwards.
same exact
yeah, I
spot.
was gonna say it might even be
They're worse.
Yeah, they're
They're
arguably
legitimately
worse
playing
right
worse.
now. Yeah, they're long
was
overdue
ass.
for a rebuild, but that's what happens. You win a cup and you try to keep running it back over and over again with some of these guys, and it just doesn't work. But they could have put youth into the lineup. Like, they could have put youth in the lineup instead of getting like Carlson, but they just decided to waste their assets on older guys, and that's just what they keep doing. They just don't learn their lesson.
Riley Smith,
they should have.
Carlson.
They fucked up when they decided to give Letang that 6-year deal
Oh,
and
100%.
Malkin,
and Malkin
however
that
many
4-year
years.
deal.
Malkin too. When he was, the fact that Crosby had to go to his house because he was crying, like, just let the guy walk at that point.
Yeah, give
come
it up. Give it up, Pops. They should trade Crosby.
Okay, actually, I was gonna say that I want to give you guys a hot take, and I just want to fact check this real quick.
A Joey D ice cold take.
No, that's it.
You could say that. Okay.
Let's get the definition of the ice cold take up, everybody.
Yep. And
Okay,
someone read it for me,
so
please.
the last 4 years, so it's 2021, they haven't won a single round. I'm sorry, I'm lying. 2019 is the last time, or they haven't won
Half
a
a
round
decade
since
ago.
2019. I'm sorry. 2018 was the last time they won a single round. They made a mistake not getting rid of Crosby. I'm not even joking. The return you probably could have gotten would have been
Dude,
unbelievable.
even if you traded Sidney Crosby today,
Yeah.
you're probably talking about 2 first-round picks and a top prospect. I'm not.
Colorado
If
would-
not more,
Colorado would do
because
it.
you know damn
100%.
well.
Oh yeah,
You
Colorado.
know damn well he still has at least 3 more solid, like really solid years ahead
And
of
he's
him.
gonna play his absolute wiener off because he wants to win. Like, he's a competitor. He won't stop himself.
Nathan LaGM is gonna get on the phone right now.
Bro,
Like,
Oh,
if you
100%.
have a 1-2 punch of Crosby McKinnon with
Just-
Rantanen
just
on the
take-
wing,
just take the league, and we won't even be mad because you know what? You kinda
yeah,
deserve it.
I'm honestly just gonna. I won't rant about the Rangers for the next few years. Like, there's no point. They're not gonna
Literally.
win.
I'm not even joking. Since Colorado's so good, I could probably see like 2 first-round picks, Bowen Byram, and then maybe a second, and then another prospect
Yeah, that's
because
a
he's
lot.
just that valuable,
That's a lot.
dude.
But yeah, you're right.
Not
He
for
is
Crosby.
that valuable.
Not for
Casey,
Crosby. He's that valuable, 100%, and he's on a
Maybe
somewhat
Crosby and
team-friendly contract.
Casey Middlestat,
Oh
I
my
could get
God,
behind that.
I
I would
will.
kill for that.
I would
Yeah,
love Casey Middlestat on this team. I didn't even know until I was looking randomly at who was leading the Buffalo Sabres in points, and I was like, no fucking way, it's Casey Middlestat. And
Dude, the kid's solid.
I'm shocked, and he's playing on their third line.
Yeah.
What?
Like, what would he be doing here? I want to see now how many of his points are at even strength this year.
Probably a lot. I don't really think he gets a lot of power play time.
More than Mika.
Probably not. And Buffalo's power
Yeah.
play kind of reeks too. So
Yeah.
holy shit. Oh wow. Okay, so 11 of his 12 goals are at even strength, and then you have, where was it? His 25 of his 30 assists are at even strength. Like,
Hey,
this
listen,
dude's outperforming Mika Zibanejad too.
hey, listen,
He's playing on their third fucking line.
Hey, listen, if Buffalo wants to feel a little generous and they want to throw in JJ Peterka in that deal, that's all I'm saying.
SMAS. Save him a spot. We will be there.
Yeah, I would love, dude. Oh my
Or
God.
or if they don't want to trade Casey Middlestat, I think that kind of means Tage Thompson's expendable now. Because they have
Yeah.
Cousins. They have Middlestat as their 1-2 down the middle. All I'm saying, Tage Thompson's expendable. Get on the phone, Jory.
That's a real number one
Get him.
forward right there.
Get on the phone, Jory.
Oh my God. I
for-
would.
For Barkley Goodrow and Blake Wheeler,
That's too much. I do.
I would maybe put Boyko in the deal,
Yeah.
and then
Watch
that would be
him
it. Like,
out.
yeah,
Watch him out.
just throw him in there.
Just throw 'em.
Throw him in there. I see you getting smart. Fucking smart.
Can we pull up? I want you to hear you guys stuff about that McDavid trade thing. Like comment.
Who?
Yes, sir.
Package.
Who would you trade for McDavid
Shit,
without adding Panarin?
No,
Just for
everyone.
shits and gigs.
Fucking everyone.
Get the next 3 first-round picks.
Well, Boyko's an untouchable too, though, in this deal. That's one thing. Edmonton does need goaltending, though. We might
When
have to
don't
make the
they?
sacrifice.
That might be a Mackenzie Skowski kind of thing.
We might have to throw Boyko in the deal. Edmonton needs goaltending.
Mm.
It might be 1 for
We
1,
just might.
honestly.
You could add like a 6th or 7th just to even it out for us.
To answer this question seriously, I don't even know. Like, the only guys that are untouchable to me in a McDavid deal, like Panarin, I agree, because you want him playing with Panarin, and then Fox, I would say, is untouchable in that type of deal. So anyone else is on the table. Like, I don't know what it would realistically take, but whatever they want.
Can we
Whatever
have
they
a timeout
want.
for a sec. Nick, what the fuck are you eating?
I was waiting for someone to say something because I was chewing so fucking loud.
It is
Grace just
so
smacked me. I was chewing
obnoxious.
so loud.
Sorry, Evan, keep going.
I was saying that anyone else is on the table for me. That's
Really?
I pretty much finished my point. Like, besides Panarin and Fox, whoever they want, trade them. I don't care who they want. They want the entire roster, trade them.
3 first-round
Where are they?
picks. 3 first-round picks. Mika.
I
Hoffman.
think no, they'd want 4. They'd want 4 first round
4.
picks. They probably want
Probably.
4 because, like, if he hypothetically was an RFA and was getting offer sheeted, it
I
would
was just
cost
gonna-
4
I was
first
just
round
gonna say
picks.
that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I would say probably 4 firsts. Probably Ottman and Tyler Pitlick, just to sweeten the deal. No, I would.
Pitlick's homecoming party is gonna
Yeah.
be sick.
I would probably say 4 firsts and Zibanejad and.
They're probably gonna want. They'd want
No,
Igor in that deal.
I was gonna say scratch that. Fuck. We're gonna keep Ziv just for shits and gigs again. Shesterkin and Ottman, and I'm not gonna say it's gonna go through, but that's a lot. That's a lot.
Also, save a spot
little
for Warren Fogle next to Connor McDavid.
The only reason why I'm not trading Lafreniere is because could you imagine his game with McDavid?
No, I'd move Lafreniere for him. I would.
Laf, what do you think
Wait.
about that?
Mika, Igor, and 2 first.
Sign me up for that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I
if
would
that's
do
the
it.
Case, then I would do that.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Who put the trade difficulty on easy?
Yeah, that
All right, so
I did.
layup for that one. I'm. That's not even a
roll a
question.
euro.
I'm gonna get one more Triscuit in my mic, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I still gotta go to work tomorrow. I'm gonna give you guys one more crunch, and then you gotta guess what flavor Triscuit it is.
I know.
No,
what it
we're
is.
not. No, we're not doing that. No. Just go to bed now. Go get your sleep. Go get your sleep. Yeah, Mika's
Yeah.
also untouchable. Yeah, good point.
The
Good point.
hugs per 60. We just can't get rid of that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Shots missed for 60.
I don't know. Like, I'd move mountains though to make that happen. Like, I don't care if it costs Lafreniere. I'd move Lafreniere easily to get
I would keep
McDavid.
this because of the potential we have with him because everyone else besides Laffy in our top 6 is not getting any younger. That's literally the only reason why I wouldn't touch him. Plus, it's homegrown kid, and I've always been a fan of him. But just to see him blossom into at that point he's going to be a legitimate star.
Still won't
know
get power play time.
No.
Probably not. No. But
He'll
I
he'll actually be sent down to Hartford.
mean, you saw what he single-handedly did to Evander Kane, and I'm not saying obviously Kane was a good scorer before, but he just completely boosted his game. And again, like you said, you like Zach Hyman. I love Zach Hyman, but
Broke the
he
Hyman.
he literally brought his game to a complete different level again. And you could argue, I mean, I'm not saying it is true, but you could also argue with Draisaitl. No one was feeding him the puck before. Then you got a guy like McDavid. That's all I'm gonna say. I think you should keep Laffy in that deal. Not saying he's an untouchable, but I'm saying it'll be really hard to move him.
The only thing that scares me is that it has to be where Lafreniere is already extended long term, because I don't want McDavid boosting his stats and then he's making like 10 million also.
I completely 100% agree. It'd have to be like a 5x5 or something like that.
Yeah, give him the Zach Hyman special.
Yep.
I'm still so mad that the Rangers didn't do that. Like, I was so for getting Zach Hyman, and then they got Barca Goudreau, and I'm like, okay, great.
Intangibles over cups, maybe, or intangibles over goal scoring. I mean, yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, in a few years, Chris Knobloch's going to be on the Pivot podcast being like, y'all know they have it in a potential reunion with Evander Kane.
Knobloch's going to be on Big Apple Hockey.
Y'all know they happening.
If you gave me a chance.
Is there anyone worth trading for that will actually make a difference at this year's deadline? Realistically, no. Not really.
Maybe Chikrin, that's about it.
And that's I feel like that's still a long
but
shot.
But even that, he won't propel you to a Stanley Cup contender. He'll make you a much better team, but he won't make you a cup contender.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll end the podcast here. The Knicks loss. That sucks.
Yeah,
not surprised though.
Yeah, what do we have? No offense.
Jacob Toppin.
That's true. Kid's a goat.
We don't have Arch anymore though, which hurt my heart.
Yeah.
But
dude, what a goat.
But we'll end it here. Leave a like if you have not already. Don't forget to subscribe too. Like I said, we're on the road to 2K subs. Let's get it before the Stadium Series. Let's hope we could. But tomorrow they play Chicago at 8:30, right? Is it 8 or 8:30?
8:30.
8:30.
8:30. All right. So we will be there. We will be there.